So a budget surplus is at least forecast. The coalition's already come out and said, well, anyone can have one. What about the following years? That's when the hard work starts. Joining me now is Chief Investment Officer at the Motley Fool, Scott Phillips. Thanks very much for your time. So clearly, circumstances have helped Labor. They have banked a fair bit of this money, though, to be able to have this surplus. What's your take on whether this budget surplus is at all about Labor's economic management, or is this the drover's dog, as Angus Taylor mentioned?
There is some irony, Tom, to the former government having not delivered a surplus and then saying, well, anyone could do it. They might want to have a look at themselves in the mirror this morning before going back on TV. But the other side is it's absolutely true. In fact, mate, honestly, right now, we should be rolling in dough. We should have a tens of billions of dollars of budget surplus if the budget was in structural balance, which it should be. And that's the conversation neither party is going to have. They're both going to argue about who owns this very tiny surplus, $4 billion, a lot of money, but tiny in the national scheme of things. And as you say, mate, at the very, very best time economically, commodity prices sky high, company taxes through the roof, personal income tax collections are high, unemployment benefits are really low. Why? Because we're all in work. So look, in these circumstances, yes, it should be a drover's dog surplus. What neither are copping to is the fact that the drover's dog should be bringing in 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 billion worth of surpluses, not a measly $4 billion, because, as you rightly say, what happens next year and the year after when things normalise, we go back into deficit. 15 years of deficits, 1 year of surplus, maybe we won't even eke out a second one if we're really lucky economically, and then back into deficit. It is simply unsustainable, mate. So politics completely aside, the economics of this is that we simply don't have a budget that is appropriately structured. And by the way, more spending increases to come, or tax collection cuts to come in the forward estimates. That'll be the fascinating one. You've already reported this morning on the updated cost of the stage 3 tax cuts, for example, growing NDIS problems.
Yeah.
So this is whatever happens this year in the current surplus or the current forecast, it probably is a surplus from all reports. The simple reality is we're not in a position from the previous government or the current one to have really grasped the nettle, to have taken the bull by the horns. Let's throw a million metaphors in. They haven't dealt with the structural issues of the budget. That is the glaring, well, we'll find out. I assume that's the glaring omission from tonight's budget.
Well, we'll see it in particular over the forward estimates, how that begins to be treated. They're trying to make the NDIS sustainable a bit slowly, but there's more baked in spending. What about the spending that is happening? Let's talk about, job seekers going to be increased. We'll see exactly how much and who gets it. Single parent payments, aged care wages as well. All of this is worthy, but the government says overall it won't be inflationary. Does that seem possible to you?
No. It's clearly not possible, mate. It is an effort for a bit of sleight of hand. As you say, worthy, and you separate these into two pieces. The first is, what do the numbers say? And then we say, well, are those numbers justified? And those are two very important but very distinct and different conversations. You can't add all this money to the economy and say, yeah, but all that aggregate demand we're adding to, that's not going to hurt at all. There's going to be no impact on prices. The Treasury will say, well, energy prices are coming down. That takes money out of the inflationary basket. That's true on energy prices. But if someone gives me some more money, they say, great, thanks, I'll pay a lower energy bill, and I'll go and spend the money over there doing something else. And so that spending doesn't go away. There is no deflationary impact. There is no ability to simply say, well, the money doesn't exist anymore because your energy prices are lower. Now, again, as you say, worthy, absolutely, because I want to make sure people can put the heaters on this winter. It's very reasonable to say we want to make sure that the economy is balanced correctly and people are being looked after. But they really should say, you know what, and yes, this will have some inflationary pressures. We're sorry about that. Frankly, again, back to the structural budget thing, what they should do is say, and here are the spending cuts or the tax receipt increases to pay for it. That's exactly what you should do if you want to structurally balance a budget. You're saying, I'm going to take some money from here, put it over there. That's how this works.
We haven't seen it all. Maybe there'll be more of that than both of us are expecting. We will see. You can at least understand how maybe the energy stuff balances out, but the rest of the spending, I'm sort of scratching my head as to how that isn't some inflationary pressure, but we will see. Thank you, Scott Phillips. We'll let you get away because plenty to delve into once the budget is out in all its glory.